Hi there, folks. I'm back with yet another insightful session for you. The last time I shared a recording, I spoke about the character around the level 7522, and that was how ES either gapped up or gapped down each time across the level. Today, that's precisely what happened, where ES once again gapped up and since then has continued to trend higher. So, the most important takeaway for everyone watching this recording is to understand the character not only behind the market and its moves in general, but even what each level represents. Because as you understand that, the better your confidence and trading becomes. Yes, there will be some outlier events, but at least you will be better prepared than most. And in this case, I prepared you for an outcome of this sort on the 25th of July when I shared my recording. So in case you guys have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel or Substack, then I don't think it's too late. You should go ahead and do it, as it'll save your account multiple times over. Now, let's come back quickly to today's session. And today's session was a classic example of what markets should do but did not. And there's an acronym for it, WMSDD. Now, if you look quickly at the open, ES pretty much stagnated at 75.60s. This is the same level which was prior week's value area high, the same level where the auction topped out ahead of Google's earning. So let's put it this way, this level was somewhat the scene of crime. And why we say scene of crime? Because it is only after that session is where we got this massive liquidation break. Coming back, so this level was a no-brainer for anyone to fade on first attempt. And what sellers achieve here will be the most important alpha that you could find. As you can see, we did get a pullback of 75.60s right into 75.42. And this is where the concept of WMSDD comes up. You get as close and do not fill the gap, and this is where you must ask yourself the first question. We came right here, did not fill the gap, something is up. Buyers sent in a message. Now, whether you got in the long applying gap rules or not. So one option was to literally start scaling in as we got into 75.41, because typically, like I said, a gap above 75.22 historically has found continuation, and backing the same pattern, the same character, you start scaling in as we get closer. So fortunately, I managed to scale in. Not a full-size position, but managed to scale. And thereafter, you'll observe how ES quickly reclaimed the open, which is 75.43, and since then continued to grind higher. And observe how it has done so. You got a really nice opening drive higher, followed with period B broadly holding period A high, and the similar pattern formed right at initial balance high. Now, typically when I look to position, I like some back tests before adding to my levels. So yes, I couldn't find that opportunity, but once again, what this auction told me is not to short prematurely. And what you want to observe here is how ES has been one time framing higher consistently. Yes, there was a slight break over here around about 75, 76.11. But what is important for you to again notice, what did that break or end to one-time framing up achieve? Well, nothing, just a minor consolidation to continue going higher. Not just that, it is not. Now, add up all the factors, the elements that enabled you to recognize this was a trend up. First, it is a break above balance. Okay. Now, when I talk about balance, it is my proprietary balance, which is 73, 54, 75, 22. The moment there's a break, you have your balance rules guiding you, which is a breakout of balance, and you're seeking continuation. One, two, gap, near miss. Again, speaking of buyer's strength, an opening drive higher, which doesn't even retrace to 50%. In fact, it continues higher during period B. Third, IB breakout. There's a continuation, one-time framing higher, continuation. And then observe London close. London close is at 76.03, barely a point below. And again, ES has continued higher. Now ask yourself, why is ES continuing higher? Because this is yet another attempt to get back to its all-time highs. And remember the magnet, SPX is yet to print. And look over at NQ. NQ is yet to fill its gap from Wednesday, 22nd July, which means even NQ is playing catch up into 29,090. So when you have the catch up, you have NQ continuing higher, you have ES where every element is pointing higher. That is when you ask yourself, why am I shorting? Yes, there will be zones of interest for buyers and sellers, but when the trend is so relevant, visible, that is when you want to ask yourself, why am I shorting outside of the location? There has to be a reason. In fact, when you want to short such trend days, you want to observe for a failure with a back test which allows you to join. And remember, whenever you get an opportunity to short, your magnitude is very, very important. What are you targeting? In this event, we will be targeting a back test of 67.78. So coming back to this region, you necessarily don't need to catch the top. Even a failure of this gray zone right here, something that we will be watching, is where you can potentially short. So always remember, trend is important. Even if you're hesitating to join the trend, do not fade without merit. You want to be on the right side of this market, and the golden rule to be on the right side of this market really boils down to even avoiding trades when your bias suggests otherwise. So I'm going to leave you with this, and the last bit of advice: keep your size in check. I see a lot of traders trying to size up when they lose money, fading a strong trend. Well, that's only going to multiply your losses. In fact, when you see a trending market and you're fighting your bias, you really want to size down, because that is when you don't want to let your bias hurt you. So I've taught you some 5 important elements that we tracked today, and something that will be useful for you, not just today, again, for the foreseeable future, whenever you see a trend up or trend down session. And once again, we go back to the character of this level, 75.22. So that's all from me. I wish you guys a good evening. Now I'll be back tomorrow.